Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're taking a look through another 100 vintage Penguin paperbacks from that epic collection that I picked up a few weeks back. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so picking up where we left off, this is Penguin books numbered between 700 and 800. So the next 100 in the batch. Now I've got to admit, after doing these, I sort of have to get the first 500 sort of out of the way, but I am sort of craving doing something a little bit different. So the video after this is going to be something which it won't be the next 100. It's not going to be numbers 800 to 900. I'm going to do something a bit different, maybe a batch of puffin books or something like that. Just something to mix it up a little bit, because you could say I'm a bit main series out at the moment. I'm looking for a little bit of variety. There's so much to do, and I'm very much looking forward to getting onto the 60s stuff, which a lot of it I've never seen before. I don't own it, and I've never seen it. This stuff here, I do actually own these books, so it's not like it's the first time I'm seeing them, although it is still nice to give them all a good clean. It'll be interesting to see if this next 100, where the books are a little bit more recent, if these have got so much tape on compared to the previous couple of hundreds. This is one of those ones which is in a dust wrapper. So I put my my video of the how I got to get this collection. I put that one up on YouTube last night as I filmed this today, and yeah, it's done extremely well. So it's had a couple of thousand views in under a day, which is, you know, much quicker than usual. So I'm super pleased with that. It was not hyperbole when I said it was my best ever paperback haul. I mean, it definitely was, you know. Head you lose? On the back of that video, I have had quite a few people email me and say, "Oh, can I have these? I'm interested in those." You know, so that's been really good. I'm keeping a little folder because none of it is available for sale yet until I've actually gone through and given everything a really good sort out. But just in case, you know, you're watching and you think, "Oh, I wouldn't mind that book," or "There's a particular penguin I'd really like to get my hands on," just drop me an email, julesburt@gmail.com. I'll pop it in a folder which I've created in my inbox for everyone who's contacted me. And if you're the first to ask for it, then you can get it, you know. But I can't even promise it's even in here. But obviously, if you've seen it in these videos, then chances are it will be available. Certainly, the first 1,000 I have already got. So all the videos you see, all the books you're going to see today in this video, I have already got. So they will just be spares. This guy bought this one in Cheltenham on the 28th of November 1974. Which was my 5th birthday. What was I doing on my 5th birthday? I honestly can't remember. And that one's got the cover bent back like that. That's a bit of a shame. But we can bend it back, and over time it'll lay flat again. So I've already filmed one video this morning with my friend Andy, who comes over now and again with bits from his collection. But that wasn't books, it was a video on Mike Hazard, which is an old 1960s sort of action figure, quite a large one, sort of 12-inch size, really incredible. He's sort of like a secret spy with masses of accessories to it. It was really, really cool. So we're doing that this morning, and that left me just enough time this afternoon to squeeze another one of these in. I noticed the last one we did was an hour and a half, but there was some tough repairs, wasn't there, involved in that one, so these things take as long as they take. But it will be good to get another 100 of these processed. Bit of writing or dedication or something in here, which I think someone's actually already tried to rub out, but they didn't do a very good job of it. So I'm going to finish it off. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. It's been written quite heavily in there in pencil, so it has left a bit of a mark. But nothing too bad. Nothing too bad. There's a Peter Cheney, a dark duet. I don't think I've ever read any Peter Cheney. He's one of those authors who were quite prolific. Wrote quite a bit, but I don't remember reading any of his. Main Street. This one's in a nice wrapper. Well, it's in a wrapper. It's not super good condition, but it's better than no wrapper at all. Lovely. 10p. Not bad price for this big thick one. Wrapper's a bit the worse for wear, but the book's okay. Night in Bombay. Also in a wrapper. Yes, I'm trying to make up my mind. I'll have a little think about it while we're doing this video, about what to do next, just so I can break it up a little bit. Because I think 3 of these on the try is probably enough, and we should do it. I have got the next lot of Pam books ready to rock and roll, so when we're ready to do those, I'll throw in, because I think we'll have either 1 or 2 more Pam videos to do. Then I've cleaned up my entire Pam collection, but I am also going to start bagging my Pam books up, because I think they're really, really nice. I've picked up a couple of nice later covers on my Pam books lately, and they're really good. So I'm looking forward to going through those. When I started collecting Pam books, I just wanted the first print-ins, but as I've gone on, since like the numbered series, there's only 443, I think there are, and since I've now got them all, I've decided to move into the realms of getting the later editions with the different covers, and I've been having quite a lot of fun, because they're reprints for starters, they're generally quite cheap, and at the same time I do like the variety, so it's all good. Right, let's get that in there. So it's been, for middle of July, we've had absolutely terrible weather today. It's been pretty much raining all day, which is why you can hear the seagulls coming in, because usually when the weather's bad at sea, the seagulls come into land, and also in my neck of the woods, today is bin day, and they often are opportunist to jump on a bin, the little scamps that they are. Now this one's been repaired, but it looks like it's magic tape or magi tape, which when it's no good, it won't. Unlike the cheap tape which Alan used on most of his books, the magi tape doesn't come off so good. So the best thing to do with that is just leave it exactly as is. Right, let's slide that pile over there. But most of Alan's books he repaired with just fairly cheap tape, which over the last 50 years has thankfully just aged and gone brittle and is nicely peelable. Which is quite handy. A little bit of glue required in the top there. Another Peter Cheney, also in pretty rough shape. I think mine are in rough shape, to be honest. Peter Cheney is one of those authors, a bit like Agatha Christie, where the books, particularly in these old Penguin editions, seem to have been really well read time and time again, much more so than other authors. And because of that, they're tending not to turn up in the greatest shape, But that's just how it goes, particularly with crime authors. But Peter Cheney, I mean, you don't hear much about him these days, do you? I don't know why the books haven't had the long life that some of the authors have had. Yeah, it's quite a nice copy. The wrapper's a little bit rough, but you sort of come to expect that, don't you? Let's do the next wedge down here. The Ginger Griffin. It's funny, I was not hanging around by cleaning these, but a few of the ones yesterday, when I went back and was editing the video, I spotted little bits where I'd potentially not rubbed out a bit of pencil or something like that on the cover, and I'm kicking myself like. But there you go, Mystery Villa. This one says 12th of June 76 hay, meaning hay on Y, of course. £25p. Typical of hay, overpriced. The Garden Party. Well, fat chance of having one of them in our British summer this year. Absolutely rubbish. Rubbish. we are. Reasonable copy of that one. Dead Lion. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying all these cleaning videos. I know they're penguin heavy at the moment, but I have to roll with the with what comes my way, you know. Normal service will be resumed in about half a year. Now, I will try and get some other stuff mixed in just to break things up a little bit. Very, very neat writing down the bottom there, but although it meant a lot to Alan, where, you know, to jog his memory about where he actually bought the books, to the collector now, moving this on, if that was coming into my collection, I wouldn't want to know where Alan bought it. I just would remember where I got it from, you know. So it is always sort of personal preference, but generally speaking, I prefer to have my books as near to as they were published as possible, you know. But each to their own is what we say. Each to their own. That's what I don't remember this. I mean, I know I've got it, I just can't remember it. Famous Trials of Marshall Hall. Simenon. This is one of those ones. A lot of the Simenon books are so thin, even Penguin decided to put, like in this case, 2 books into one because they were quite thin. But he was almost putting out a book every couple of months, wasn't he? Just incredible. Very, very prolific chap was Simenon. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This one's a little bit rough. Yes, this has seen better days, shall we say. Evidently one that Alan didn't get around to upgrading. Not unless there's another copy that we haven't come across yet. Which some of the books in the last 100 there were duplicates of. Which I wasn't really expecting. But I knew there was a few doubles even within Alan's own collection. There we are. I'm not going to be able to get any better on that one. Black Plumes. little split at the bottom of the spine, which was why Alan taped it to begin with. But nothing that can be really glued back together, you know. There we are. John Steinbeck now. This is another one that was actually a 2-in-1. Yeah, of My Cement and Cannery Row. Remove the bodies. A little bit on the old foxed side there, but looks okay. Bit of glue to do in a moment. Yeah, not a great copy, that one, sadly. But they are what they are. Don't monkey with murder, okay. I promise I won't. Death of a Millionaire. Quite a nice copy of that one. Chandler, Trouble Is My Business. He's pretty good, Raymond Chandler. Certainly one of the greats, isn't he? And I do like him. And Dashiell Hammett in a similar sort of way, you know? This one, I don't know if you know the movie Get Carter, but at the very start of Get Carter, Carter himself is in a train and he's being stalked by an assassin who would eventually get him at the end of the film. And the assassin is reading a copy of Trouble Is My Business, this exact book in Penguin edition, which is quite cool. So a little, almost like a little Easter egg, which you might have picked up if you saw the film in the cinema at the time, you know. Another Peter Cheney, another one in slightly rough condition. This tape's been a little bit stubborn. I was editing yesterday's video, the one I filmed yesterday, which you would have seen last week. And whilst I was doing it, I sat next to a big pile of books, so I was going through some of the Penguin guides, and there was a guide to London, and that had the tape on, the same as these ones, and I couldn't get the tape off. It was old, but it somehow almost like fused to the bottom spine of the book, so I had to leave it. Most of them, they just, as you see, they just pop off, don't they? But that particular one sadly defeated me. I see at the top there, that's, yeah, it's left a mark, but there we go. Nothing we can do. Carcaret's Cure. Okay. Joseph Conrad. Monica Dickens. There we are. Not too bad. I think these aren't as bad as the last 100. And by bad, I mean they're not in as bad condition. And it could well be just because these are a little bit more recent, just a year or two after the last 100 that we looked at. So they're slightly better condition. They have more of it. They're not as old, so they have more of a chance of surviving in decent condition. I, for one, am very relieved at that. Lovely. I do like the Penguin editions of Sherlock Holmes. They're lovely, lovely books. I think I've got them all in Penguin edition. Velvet, wow. Loads of crime here. Not a lot of memorable crime. I suppose we had the Raymond Chandler, but that was about it, wasn't it? There's Marjorie Allingham, wasn't there? She's a pretty big name. I could admit my crime knowledge is not as nice as, or not as vast as I'd like it to be. There's lots of authors I've still yet to ever try, but hopefully I'll get around to it. There are, of course, only so many hours in the day, aren't there? Another Robert Graves. Yeah, he's just about in one piece. That's all right. This one in the remnants of a dust wrapper. Looks like it's got detached. Yeah, just a slightly misprinted page, which is a shame. 30th of July, 73, Reigate. Here's another Marjorie Allingham. Mystery Mile. Ninth of February, 74, Honeyborn. Death and the Dancing Footman, J.A. Marsh. Freedom Farewell, another biggie. Stroud, this one was from. Yes, I think so far definitely less tape than we've had in the previous 100. So that may be a good sign that we're getting, that there's going to be less tape work as the books get more and more up to date, as it were, which should be a good thing. Bit of a Foxdog copy, this one. Contract bridge. Never been too good at bridge. In fact, I've never really seriously attempted it. It's in pen. I've never really seriously attempted it. I think it's one of those games you really need to be surrounded by people who are playing it. You sort of pick it up sort of as you play it, really, you know. This one looks a little bit on the rough side, you could say. Yes, not a collectible copy. It's a copy, but it's just not a collectible. Yes. Not even VG, that one. I'd say that was good at best, you know. A bit of a weird term, that, isn't it? Good condition, when in actual fact it's not really that good. Good is actually like just about the lowest acceptable grade that most collectors would accept. That's okay then. The Crime at Black Dudley. I'm slightly surprised that we haven't had more things fall out, like bookmarks and bus tickets and things like that. And I suspect that Alan did look over the books and take that sort of stuff out of them. But I also suspect that he did his own sort of version of what I'm doing, repairing them to the standards that he saw fit at the time, really, you know. And always, well, not always, but in a lot of cases, recording where the books actually, where he actually bought them, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, the important books, I remember where I pretty much picked them all up, you know. And that's got tape, but it's got Magi tape, so we're going to leave that on. From Bristol, 30th of April 1977, Bristol. Yeah, lovely. Another D.H. Lawrence. I'm pretty sure this one came in a dust wrapper at some point, like a lot of the thick ones in this period. Need to get a bit of glue in there, which we can do right now. The end had glued itself in. See, if only Alan had done that back in the day, we wouldn't have those nasty sellotape marks now, would we? But you're just not to know, you know? We were not, or he was not to know. 27th of December, 75, Bolton. Very, very grubby copy. Very grubby copy. Only going to be a cheap and cheerful one, that. But for some people, that's all they want. It's cheap and cheerful, so I'm sure somebody will have it. Of course, this was part of a run of 10 books, I believe. Was it these ones? I think it was. Oh no, the actual D.H. Lawrence 10 came later, didn't it? I think. I'm trying to remember. I know the Lady Chatterley trial was early 60s, wasn't it? The Woman Who Rode Away and Other Stories. That's one I don't remember, a D.H. Lawrence, but from Honeyborn again. Very, very foxed, this one. Yeah, super foxed. If that is indeed a phrase. Super fox. Plays. First one of those we've seen today. That looks in nice condition. Miss Evans from Richard Albright. There we are. Tidied that one up quite nicely. Henry Miller. Oh, blimey. It's got tape on, but it's also heavily smoke damage, this one. Look at that. Look at that. That's cigarettes, you know, so we're not going to be able to do much with that. Well, we can't do anything with it, because if it was a glossy cover, I'd be able to get some of that off. But when it's not glossy, it's the matte like this, then we can't do anything with that at all. Yes. There we are. This was 2.5p. 2.5p. Can you believe it? Look to the lady. Yeah, we've had so many Lawrences, I'm sure we must have cleaned up the Lawrence 10, where they published 10 of his books in one hit. I think that's why we're seeing so many of his today. Once again, a bit of a grubby copy, this one. Very, very grubby. Don't, Mr. Disraeli. Another double taper. Yeah, just a tatty-ish copy, sadly, of that one. Strawberry Roan. Yeah, that's okay. Aldous Huxley. Yeah, that's nice. Really nice copy, that one. Edward Lear. Gatsby. A reasonable copy of that one. Good book. Great Gatsby. Oh, it's another copy of Farewell, my lovely. Sure, we've already had that. Oh no, we've had Trouble Is My Business, haven't we? So this is the other one. Yeah, fairly nice copy of that one. Father and Son. It's funny so many of these had the little 5p or the price right on the front. I'm thinking that must have been just the way that the second-hand shops did it back then, you know? I mean, I'm only guessing, but I think so, you know? Death at the Bar. Oh dear. It's the last thing you want to happen, isn't it? Die at the bar. Double tape action on this one. In Hazard. Well, this one's got a almost detached cover, so we're going to need to re-glue this one back. Yeah, nothing too serious. There we are. Oh, a crossword book. Only one of these we've seen today, isn't it? There we are. Yeah, not too bad a copy. Fairly bright. The Ghost it was. There we are. That was all that was required on that one. Death and Pleasant Voices. Chipping Camden, 3rd of March, 1973. Where on earth is Chipping Camden? Is it Camden Town or? Rumour Garden. Another big giant. Not perfect. Oh, blimey, all right, look at this one. I feel one false move and the whole book will fall to bits. Ugh, it's awful, isn't it? But it is what it is. So at least we've been able to get through this particular 100 a little bit quicker. Try and glue that back on straight away, I think. '22nd of the 7th, 75, Totnes. I remember there being a bookshop in Totnes. It was called, I think it was called something like the Gaelic Bookshop, believe it or not. I don't know what the connection was because they just did general books, they weren't specifically Gaelic or anything like that. Yes, quite the worse for wear, this one. Another one that'll be moved on nice and cheap. But at least it lives to see another day. Okay, last little wedge before we get brushing. And second crossword book of the day. Seems quite a nice bright copy. Let's see how complete it is inside. It's always a bit of a who knows what in these cases. Pretty nice. Just the first puzzle attempted, which is the norm. Apart from that, it's a pretty nice copy, that one. The Oxbow Incident. Aaron's rod. Verdict 12. Yep, that's alright, nothing to do on that one. Sonia. This one's been in the wrapper, which has been removed by the looks of it. Lovely. August Folly. That's fine, nothing to do on that one. Thursday afternoons. Well, I'm filming this on a Monday afternoon. So this book is completely wrong. I see the bottom there, it's got another bit of tape on, but it's magic tape, so we can't do anything about that. Sadly. Trader's Purse. Overture to Death. I know we've had our fair share of tape today, but I don't think there was quite as many as the last 100. I don't think so. Sneaky inside front cover down the bottom one there as well. How very dare they? Now this one, it's okay, it's just very worn. Okay, last one before we start brushing. Lovely. All right, let me clear the decks. Okay then, guys and girls, it's the final part where we give everything a brush down. Now, I don't think these were massively awful. I don't think any of the collection's been really, really dusty, but there definitely has been some dust. So we will need to address that by giving them all the once over. So as I said, I'm going to have a good think about what to do next week. It may still be Penguin related, but it's not going to be main series. I'm going to do something a little bit different just to mix it up a bit so you don't get too bored. But, you know, when a big collection of one publisher comes along, I just have to deal with it as best I can. So I'm sure you understand. But we have had genuine cleaning and repairing to do, haven't we? So that's all good. There's a lot of crime in this particular 100, wasn't there? Evidently it was selling like hotcakes. And the editors at Penguin were keen to publish more. And who can blame them, eh? Now this one here, I've just noticed there was a bit of tape left on it. It says missed quality control. It is holding back a particularly nasty bit of spine damage. Which I'm going to address with a tiny running repair dab of glue. Just into there. There we are. We have the power. In all honesty, these books, to be really, really thoroughly cleaned, they need to be gone over a couple of times, but obviously I just don't have the time to do that myself. But really, that's what they deserve. But who's got the time, eh? My squeaky leather back chair here. I don't think it's real leather, but he is a bit squeaky, so apologies for the squeaks. Right, last little wedge. Split it into 5 stacks today. So, once again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the show. promise to have something a little bit different to do on my next video, which I'm hoping to film tomorrow. I might do my penguin guides, and maybe some other bits as well. We shall see. If you've not already, do please hit that subscribe button for regular vintage paperback cleaning. And I'll look forward to seeing you again in 7 days with another video. Bye.